Oliveira isn't here for the drama. When Ilia Topuria, undefeated and bold, took to social media to mock him, saying he should bring a pillow to the octagon so he can sleep better, Charles didn't flinch. He didn't get into a war of words or clap back online. Instead, he stayed calm, grounded, and focused. Charles made it clear that trash talk doesn't faze him. He said only God knows what's going to happen in the cage, and honestly, that calm confidence just shows who he is. He's been doubted so many times in his career, written off again and again, and still, he's come out on top more times than anyone expected. To Charles, Topuria is just another guy adding his name to the long list of people who've underestimated him. And make no mistake, this fight is huge. Yes, Oliveira's been overlooked in the past, but that's never stopped him. Ha! The guy is a finisher. But still, Ilia Topuria isn't your average confident up-and-comer. He's fast, he hits hard, he never stops coming forward. It's that relentless pressure and knockout power that has odds makers making Topuria the favorite. But Charles? He's not rattled at all. He's been in this position before and he knows what he's capable of. When asked about it, he simply said, "Dude, it does not matter what they're going to say. For me, it doesn't matter, bro. I think only God knows what will happen. On June 28th, we're going to face each other. I think I'm a problem for him or anyone who's going to fight me. I've got firepower in my hands and incredible jiu-jitsu. Whether if it's Topuria saying something or any other fighter saying something, doesn't make any difference to me. You've seen this soap opera several times. Many of them said a lot of things and you know what happened in the end. My hand was raised, so it doesn't make any difference." What do you think? Is Charles being underrated again, or is Ilia really the new wave? Meanwhile, Jamahal Hill is sending out a very clear message to Khalil Rountree. Ahead of their fight, Hill isn't mincing words. He believes Khalil simply isn't on his level. Now, Hill does give Khalil his due credit, especially after Rountree's warrior-like performance against Alex Pereira, which earned him tons of respect. But Hill still believes he's the more well-rounded and dangerous fighter in that cage. Hill's coming off a tough loss. That TKO against Jiri Prochazka stung, and now his mission is simple: get back in the win column and fight his way back to the top. He's got gold in his sights again. When Pereira had the title, the path looked harder. Pereira had already destroyed Hill after all. But now that the title is in Magomed Ankalaev's hands, and if Ankalaev manages to beat Pereira in their upcoming rematch, that might just reopen the door for Hill. Still, first things first, Khalil Rountree is a dangerous opponent. His Muay Thai is explosive, and Hill's quick hands and sharp boxing will be tested. It's a thrilling clash of styles. And then there's the real chaos.
He can be explosive. You know, we've seen that in past fights also. You know what I mean? He swings with a lot of ferocity, you know, so I'm thinking he's coming in to be as dangerous as possible. He's put in the work. He believes that he's right there on the cusp of being where he wants to be and where he's dreamed of, where he's put all his work in for all these years, you know, but fortunately he's got to go through me.
Do you feel like he's the guy who's on the level you've proven yourself to be by being champion, beating former champions?
No, I don't like that, man. That's not disrespect. I just don't see him as on my level. You know, even with the fights that he's put in, I believe his fight before Alex was, he fought Anthony. Anthony took that fight on 5 days notice. You know, so short notice fight for Anthony. I believe the second round in Anthony, the way he came out after he kind of got woken up a little bit. He showed that a full camp might even made that fight look differently.
Khamzat Chimaev. That man doesn't back down from anyone, and definitely not if you disrespect his people. Recently, Russian influencer Alan Bekbadvar sat down with Khamzat and brought up a rumor that had the MMA community buzzing. Did Khamzat really break a heavyweight fighter's nose in sparring? Without blinking, Khamzat confirmed it. Here's what happened. The heavyweight in question? Amir Aliakbari. He made the mistake of calling out Khamzat's close friend, Muhammad, in the lead-up to a championship fight in 1FC. Khamzat didn't take that lightly, so the moment Amir walked into the gym, no greetings, no small talk, Khamzat went straight up to him and said, "Let's spar." No warm-up, no soft jabs, just a straight-up challenge. Why? Because in Khamzat's world, if you talk about his brother, you deal with him. They threw on their gloves and hit the mats. What followed wasn't sparring, it was a war, a 30-minute full-throttle, no-holding-back brawl. This wasn't training, it was personal. The fight got so intense that coaches eventually had to jump in and break it up. And afterward, Amir admitted he only called out Muhammad for hype, that it was just to promote the fight. He even said he respected Muhammad all along, but for Khamzat, it was too late. He explained, yeah, that happened when he called out my very close friend Mohammed to hype up a championship fight in 1FC. The moment I saw this guy walk into the gym, I approached him and asked to spar. You know, if someone even verbally goes after my brother, I take it personally, so I went up to him and said, let's go. You wanted to fight Muhammad? Spar with me first and we'll see. We put on our gloves and started sparring. It went on for about 30 minutes. It was an absolute war. We brawled like it was a street fight, and eventually they had to separate us. After sparring, I spoke to him about Muhammad, and he told me he respected him and was only talking trash for promotional purposes. You know, I always go hard in sparring every single time. That's just who I am, and especially if it's against someone who has talked bad about my friend. Khamzat is currently in camp preparing for the biggest fight of his career, his showdown against middleweight champion Dricus du Plessis. And this altercation with a heavyweight, it just shows where his mindset is. He's intense, focused, and unwilling to let anything slide. And speaking of dominance, Paul Felder recently gave huge praise to Kamaru Usman after his comeback performance against Buckley. Usman reminded everyone why he was once the pound-for-pound king. Felder called it a masterclass. He highlighted Usman's wrestling, his calm under pressure, and the way he executed a perfect game plan. After losing 3 in a row, this fight wasn't just a win, it was a full-on statement. Usman didn't just beat Buckley, he shut him down. Buckley had been on a tear, and many thought he was about to enter title contention. But Usman proved there are levels to this game, and now the title conversation is heating up again. Felder pointed out that timing is everything, and Usman's timing couldn't be better. He's got momentum, he's still got the skills, and with the welterweight title scene in flux, he could be next in line. Whether it's Jack Della Maddalena or Islam Makhachev holding the belt next, Felder thinks Usman would be their toughest test. His size, his championship experience, and especially his wrestling. He could pose major problems for either man. So, what do you think? Should Usman get that next shot? Would he beat JDM or Islam?
Even if Buckley had really good ability to scramble and get back up, I just think he was doing so many of the right things. He was taking his base out, his pressure was heavy on top, but he wasn't just holding him. He wasn't just keeping him down there and laying on him. My God, he was elbowing like crazy. He cut him early already in the first round. He was ground and pounding. He was adjusting his hips and sucking those hips back out. Every time Buckley even got close to getting a base, he'd readjust, he'd shoulder pressure him, pull those hips back out, pull him away from the fence or angle him away from the fence. His fight IQ was on display, in my opinion, on Saturday. And man, the emotions that were pouring out of him too, to get a win again and to do it against a guy that people had started to count him out against. You know, I think a lot of the general public had been picking Buckley just based on how he's looked, and to go get that dub, he's back in the mix. Welterweight division again. If Buckley won, he's in the mix and moving forward. But now, with a former champ as dominant as Usman was, back in the mix.
And just like that, the welterweight division is alive again. Buckley could have stepped into the spotlight with a win, but now, with Usman's powerful comeback, he's right back in the mix. At the end of the day, this sport isn't just about knockouts or submissions, it's about heart, loyalty, and proving people wrong. Whether it's Charles Oliveira standing tall against doubt, Jamahal Hill fighting for his shot at redemption, Khamzat throwing down for his brother, or Usman roaring back into title talks, every one of them is chasing legacy. And in this wild world of MMA, anything can happen. So stay tuned, because the drama, the battles, and the glory, they're just getting started. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for daily MMA news.